Yo guys, welcome back to another video. 2 of the new 6 starter decks that are coming out have been revealed, and we got the new cards for Teach and Black Purple Luffy. So I wanted to make a video running through the cards, giving you guys my first impressions and thoughts, and just talking about them a little bit. Gonna try and keep it short and simple and sweet, so without any further ado, let's just jump in and let's get started. Hey guys, real quick, I wanted to interrupt and just let you know that I have started a METAFY, and I have a EBO2 Bonnie crash course guide on there. It's essentially like a more in-depth written version of the YouTube video I put out recently. So if you're more of a visual learner, please check out the YouTube video. And if you want something that's written, has more of the matchup details and stuff like mulligans and first or second key cards, like strategies and game plans, check this out. A big thank you to everyone who's already gotten it and given like tons of like kind words and shared and reposted. I really appreciate you guys, and I just wanted to take a quick second to give a plug and say consider following me over on here too, but that's it, so back to the video. Alright, so these were starter deck 26 and 27. We're still waiting on the other 4. Please, Bandai, just show us Bonnie and Yamato next. I'll give you big hugs and kisses if you do. But this came out last Friday in Japan, essentially. So everyone's kind of assuming, since they didn't give us the reveals through the weekend, it's probably going to be every week now on probably Friday. It was like Friday early evening, Friday here in Japan. So whatever time that is for you is probably when the next reveals are coming, but let's talk about it. These are just new arts. These are the leaders. It's not like anything has changed there. I really like the Luffy one. The Teach one is cool, but this Luffy one's awesome. So I don't have the alt art for this leader, so it's actually gonna be cool. I'll probably just use this if I ever play the deck more. But yeah, let's jump in and let's look at the cards for Teach first. So we got Teach here. You either love him or you hate him. You know, this is a very polarizing leader. I don't really like him. I don't think he's the most well-designed leader for a game like One Piece, and definitely has some slightly problematic cards, but we're not going to get into that. Let's just talk about the stuff he got. So one of the new cards is another Katarina Devon. This card's okay. It's another 2k counter, so another searchable Blackbeard Pirates 2k counter. And activate main, you may trash this character if your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost during this turn. And then on KO, draw 1 card. So, like, on paper, just like a worse, stronger, which is kind of interesting. I think some of these cards will, like, we only have one Blackbeard Pirates leader, right? And it's Blackbeard, but you know, down the line we're probably gonna get some other ones, and I think, you know, some of these cards now that we might say like, oh, this is weird or not that good, or this is just a weaker, stronger, could come into play later on with some other stuff. There's also a factor where the on KO with the new, well, the last card I'm going to show you is the new 7 cost Blackbeard, so there's some synergy with that too, but we'll get to that. I think this card's okay. It's another 2k. Like, you know, not all the starter deck cards can be bangers, so there's going to be some mid ones in there. I think this is not really, like, kind of mid, but just like, you know, a decent 2k to have. Sanwan Wolf. This card is okay. This card is very interesting. So it's a 4 cost 6k, it has 1000 counter, 1k counter, and if your leader has Blackbeard Pirates type, this character gains blocker and +1 cost for every 4 cards in your trash. So like and the on play is trash 1 card from your hand, but obviously the on plays don't activate when you're using Teach, so I guess this is just a way to, I don't know. Again, I think this is kind of like setting up for a future Blackbeard Pirates leader where it's gonna probably allow on plays, and this will like come into be a factor then. But yeah, this is like, obviously the stat line is really good. 4 cost 6k with a 1k counter is kind of bonkers for a blocker, which is really good. I think like the Punk Hazard Sanji, or sorry, the Chopper, the Punk Hazard Chopper, who's in Sanji's body, is probably the 2k one is a better stat line, but this is 6k on your turn as well. Yeah, this card is like, this is a sneaky card. This is a sneaky good card, and getting the +1 cost for every 4 cards in your trash just makes it like basically unremovable. But the good thing is there's a lot of cards, especially in green, that are coming out where it says like the original cost. like Kuina's activate main rest is original cost. There's a few other cards that are now affecting original cost too, so that's really, really good. I mean, this helps against like black, you know, and against other rest cards, but the thing is like the effect itself just isn't like too crazy, because you're like turning off on plays for the most part. So again, I think this is like slowly starting to, it's gonna matter a lot more later down the line. But just the fact that he has these stats are really, really good. So pretty decent card. I think he's all right. And we got the Pizarro. This card's really interesting. It's a 1 cost 1k power with a 1k counter. Activating once per turn, you may rest one of your full lead or the Hachinosu stage. If your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, this character gains plus 4k power during this turn, and then on KO draw 1 card. So another on KO draw 1 card. You can kind of see a pattern going on here. And then when I first saw this card, I was like, I can't really see like what it's used for, but I do see its potential as like a really, really annoying, like almost kind of like semi-aggro kind of thing that you can do, where if you leave him on the field, he's just like another Luffy or something, right? The thing is like, you're not going to be able to search with full lead, so because you have to rest it for this effect. But you know, if he's chilling on the board and you're going for lethal or something, he goes from a 1k to a 5k for free, just if you have the stage. So early game, he could be this kind of like unique sneaky attacker if you need him to be. But I mean, early mid game, you're probably searching with like cycling and searching with stage every turn, so I can't really see him being that useful. I don't know. There's a build you could do with Teach where this card is like really, really strong and really, really annoying, but I think it has a lot of potential. And I'm really curious to see like what people cook, but definitely an interesting card. This one I would say is like more of a slow cooker, kind of a slow cooker. Like the how powerful it actually is isn't apparent on the surface. Next, we got a card that is very apparent how powerful it is. It's another like semi-broken Kuzan card. Wow, imagine that. Bandai printing broken black Kuzan cards. So this is a 6 cost 6k 1k counter. Don't know why it has counter. It's a blocker, and on KO, play up to 1 Blackbeard Pirates type character with the cost of 5 or less from your trash arrested. So very similar to the 5 cost Kuzan we got in OP10 for Blackbeard, and this is just now a blocker. So with San Juan and this, and you know, people are already running Caribou as a 2k counter blocker for 1 is just insane. That card's crazy in Blackbeard and makes it just even more annoying to play against, and gives him like kind of some really ridiculous turns where he can just set up multiple blockers and then start spamming 10 cost teaches. I think you're gonna see that with this, where I don't really see San Juan Wolf being like immediately included, but I do see this at least 2 to 4 copies for sure. So you're already gonna have like Caribou, you're gonna have Kuzan, and then now you're gonna have 10 cost teach, and it's just like, man, that's 12 blockers in a deck that like really can get extra value out of having blockers and just not having to use counter, or just like having that extra like defense in the end game just makes it nearly impossible to like for the non-Blackbeard opponent to like go for lethal. But yeah, this is a really strong card. Like you can just, you know, you can block early and pull out like an auger or something. You can block late and pull out a Jesus Burgess to like go for game the next turn. You can, if it's your opponent's last attack, you can easily just pull out a 5 cost Kuzan, and then your next turn you can swing with Kuzan and use his effect to draw 1. Really good card. I think it's obvious to see how good this card is, and we'll have to see how it changes the deck building a little bit. All right, and the last card that was revealed is the 7 cost Teach. This might be a hot take, but I actually don't think this card is as busted as people are kind of like making him out to be. Let's go over the effect. It's a 7 cost 8k, so already a decent stat line. Activate main, you may rest this character, KO up to one of your KO up to 1 character with a cost of 3 or less. It can be yours or your opponent's. And then on K, add up to 1 black card from your trash to your hand. So on paper, I can see how like, and this is super strong. This is super strong. I'm not sure. I could be completely wrong. I don't know if this is busted. I don't know if you run this over Jack, if I'm being completely honest. One thing is it's 7 cost. which means it's in range for Carrot, it's in range for Luna. It's so much easier for your opponent to like actually get rid of it if it's like, you know, they're KOing with cost. That can be a huge problem. One of the things about Jack that's so strong about him is, you know, he's essentially an 11 cost. So like he's without somebody KOing him based on power or just swinging into him normally, they're never getting rid of Jack. And they're never stunning him too, outside of like a 5-cost Bonnie or something, and that's only if they have their on plays, right? And the other thing about Jack too is he's cycling a card, which you're not doing with this. You are on KO, but it's like you can cycle every single turn with Jack. Sometimes in Blackbeard too, if they're running Jack, like you just throw him down and play, you know, like rest him immediately to get the cycle. And cycling while KOing stuff is really, really strong. There's going to be times with this Blackbeard where your opponent just doesn't need to KO him, or, you know, chooses not to, and you're never going to get that on KO effect. And like if you it doesn't allow you to play proactively. You have to play very reactively, which is like already something you're kind of doing in Teach, so I understand it and it makes sense. But yeah, I don't know if this card is really as broken. Like a lot of people were like going crazy about it and saying it's like super busted and it's going to be like such a game changer. I'm not really sure, and part of that is potentially because my mind has already been warped so much by the OP11 meta and just how strong Blue Purple Luffy is. I don't know if this is better than Jack, and I don't know if this is a card that actually helps you beat Blue Purple Luffy. The main thing that Teach can do to beat Blue Purple Luffy would be like being able to consistently set up your cost reducers plus something like this. Basically, Teach can't tech for Green Purple Luffy and Blue Purple Luffy at the same time, so I don't see this. I don't really see any of these cards outside maybe 6-cost Kuzan being a type of answer that like a card that actually answers the decks that it already can't beat or already doesn't have winning matchups into unless it specifically techs for them. So I'm gonna be really curious to see how this actually changes things for Teach. Like in my mind, there's a world where it doesn't actually help him enough in his already unfavored matchups, so it's like not much changes. But he's, you know, maybe this card allows you to build just a KO centric build where you're not even running like 4 10-cost Teaches and you're just KOing things and like spamming a bunch of blockers the whole time. That's kind of where I see the direction of these cards like taking the deck potentially in the future. So that's really interesting. I just don't know if it's like actually good enough to like get out of the tough spot he's already been in for OP11 and EBO2 as well. But yeah, really, really strong card. Those were the cards for Teach. So next, let's move on to Luffy. All right, Black Purple Luffy. Again, I love this art. It's really, really awesome. So this is a really interesting leader that like has always had potential, but has kind of just like suffered from not having certain consistency and certain cards that like synergize well enough with the leader effect and the deck. But I think some of these new cards solve some of that problem, so let's jump in. We got this Chopper. I love this scene from Wano. This is a great art. I love Chopper. This card's cool. So it's a 3-cost 4K, 1K counter, blocker. On play, Dawn -2. Rest up to one of your opponent's Dawn cards or characters with a cost of 1 or less. So that's kind of nutty. This is I believe the only purple card that can rest Dawn is Judge right now. The you know, Vinsmoke Judge. This is kind of like, and this, keep in mind, with this leader, this on play effect is free essentially, and not even less than that. It's like or more than that. You're getting one of the Dawn back active, right? This is kind of crazy. This is really, really good. You could be doing this as a way to like preemptively play a blocker while also resting a Dawn. So now all of your Bonnie opponents, all of your GP, all of your blue purple opponents, they have to like consider leaving up an extra Dawn just in case you have this card. The way I see this card is like a Dawn Usohachi. Obviously, like you're probably not going to be resting the 1-cost or less character, but the thing is too, like if your opponent plays like a 1-cost searcher and passes like a Bonnie or what will be like a 1-cost Hiyori for Zoro in OP12, you can play this on 3 if you don't have the new Robin card that we'll talk about, or something like 3-cost Zoro, and you're not going to be ramping, but you can like at least establish a blocker and like take out a searcher. There's little niche things where it's like, I don't hate that it has you can rest a 1-cost or less, but like honestly, the resting the Dawn is kind of crazy. It's like a Dawn Usohachi, right? So now not only do you have to play around Usohachi, which is like a broken 2K to begin with, you have to play around this Chopper too. I don't know if this will make it into the deck. I'm just talking about like the potential strength of this card. But it's a blocker. It's only 3 Dawn. Obviously, it's searchable. Really, really interesting. I think this card is cool, and thank God it's not a 2K. That's all I'm gonna say. Next, Robin. I love this art. Purple Robin cards always get great art. This is a 2K counter, and this is an awesome card. I think this card is crazy. This is a 3-cost 4K, 2K counter. On play, Dawn -2. Add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So essentially, it's another searchable, reliable card that we can use to ramp on turn 2 if we don't have our 3-cost Zoro or something like Black Maria, which has been one of the biggest kind of like struggles for the deck, is hitting that early ramp. And I don't know if you'll be able to actually take out Black Maria from the deck. This may just give you like, you know, so that you have 12 targets to consistently ramp turn 2 is pretty good. So we'll have to see. I'm not quite sure, but like regardless, this card is really, really strong. I think this is one of those cards that you see and it like doesn't click how strong this card actually is until you see it in play and like in practice. But yeah, a really, really good 2K. This is exactly the type of card that this leader needed. So I'm actually really happy that Bandai and it's not broken, it's not crazy, it's not anything too crazy. The 4K stat line is fine. You'll note like normally if this was a 1K, it'd be a 3-cost 5K, right? But since it's a 2K, it's a 3-cost 4K. It's totally balanced, it's fine. Good design from Bandai there for this leader. Next, we got Soba Mask, Sanji with the Riz. So this is a really interesting card. It's a 7-cost 9K. If you have a Sangoro or Sanji character with 7,000 base power or more, give this card in your hand -5 cost. And then on play, return all of your Sangoro and Sanji characters to the owner's hand. So essentially, in the right situation, this is a 2-cost 9K. It is counterless. I do think this is a card that like might be getting hyped up a little too much, and then when you actually try and play it, it's not as strong, but like the potential is there, right? The thing that makes me a little wary of it is just the conditional aspect of it, where you have to have the Sangoro or the Sanji with the 7K or higher, which is essentially the 7-cost rush Sanji. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, this is a great card. People have been talking about how this is actually going to be really strong against Teach, because if they turn off your on-play effects, then you don't have to return the Sanjis, so you just played a 9K for 2-cost. So I do see this being just like a tech card in certain metas. Honestly, I think it's pretty good against something like Blue-Purple too, but if Blue-Purple is able to remove any of your other stuff you play, plus like most people don't really play Sangoro and Black-Purple Luffy, so this is a card. Some of these cards I could see being played in like Luffy maybe, or testing them out, but I'm not sure. For now, I think it's a really strong card with a more in my mind just being like kind of a meta tech choice potential card, but really cool. I like the design and like of its effects, and it seems pretty cool. Moving on, we got General Frankie. Now here's my hot take for the Black Purple Luffy star decks. I think this card has the potential to be the best out of all 5 of the new cards, and I'm not just trying to like say that as I'm not memeing, I'm not trying to like clickbait this reaction or anything, but this card has some insane potential, and there's 1 or 2 downsides where I can see it like falling short, and I'll talk about them, but let's go over it. It's an 8-cost 10K, and it's on play Dawn -2. Give up to 2 of your opponent's characters -2K power during this turn. So I think this card is like the Robin card that we got, a very, very strong 8 Dawn turn card that we just didn't have for Black Purple Luffy. Before, you could run Moria and that was like a decent 8 Dawn turn, but you got to remember too, like we're aiming to ramp at least once, hopefully twice, and we're getting to our 8 Dawn turn quickly with this leader. And the Dawn -2 is free, like we said. With this effect, you're getting 1 rested and 1 active back. It's I think this card is so strong. I don't know how to like, it's yes, it's counterless, so that's unfortunate, but like the 8-cost 10K stat line is so strong, and you're giving 2 characters minus 2k power. So this is something that can like help you fight against Kid if you already have something else on the, like if you have a beater or two on board, playing this and minusing Kid and something else by 2, like ACOS Kid, is really strong. Getting this down early against something like blue purple Luffy is huge, and that's kind of why I'm having like this hot take of where I think this card's so strong, is because a card like this, ramping into this and putting it down and playing it against blue purple Luffy, there's nothing they can do to this card. There's nothing they can do to get rid of it without just swinging into it. And Luffy has this really big, blue purple Luffy has a really hard time for their first couple of turns where they're using leader effect and trying to spam their Sanjis. They're not swinging anything higher than 9, sometimes 10k, and they, like committing a Dawn onto a character essentially means they're either playing Katakuri, ACOS Katakuri, or they're not leaving a Dawn up for Gum Gum Giant. So once you play this, you're chilling. It's staying on the field for the entire game. And I want to talk about the potential combo power it has with this next card, which is the last card here that we're talking about, this Luffy. So it's a 6 cost 7k, and its effect is on play and when attacking, Dawn -2. If your leader is multicolored and your opponent has 5 or more Dawn on the field, your Straw Hat Crew type leader's base power becomes 7,000 until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So essentially, your leader becomes a 7k until the end of your opponent's next turn. Really strong. This is really strong. So here's a combo too. You know, say you're it doesn't matter if it's on curve or not, but you know, you play this, you use the effect, your leader's a 7k, and the next turn you play this, right? And you don't have to use the on play effect with this General Frankie, right? You can or not. One of the downsides that I did want to talk about with this card is on curve, if you play Luffy into Frankie and you want to use both of their effects, you have to go Dawn -4, which, unless you have a Black Maria on the field, is probably not wise, probably not a good decision. So there are some times where General Frankie would just like butt heads with this Luffy's effect. You're going to want to prioritize this Luffy. I do think this Frankie, in my mind, is low-key, has the potential to be like the best card that got released, but just in general and like outright off rip, this card obviously is the strongest that got released in the new starter deck. This is a really good card, and I could just see like if at 7, this card is insane against stuff like blue purple Luffy, because you can put the Dawn on your leader to give this +1 cost. This being a 6 cost is a little dangerous against stuff like 9 cost Mom, but if you're on 7 when you play it, you put the Dawn on leader, and I mean, first of all, then you're swinging an 8k already, and if you use this effect, you're getting the 1 extra Dawn back as well. And I guess actually that's right. If you're on 6 and you use this, you get the Dawn back. I'm sorry, I didn't think about that. I forgot about that. It's a little I'm trying to keep everything in my head when I'm visualizing it. So yeah, you're even on 6, right? You can play this Dawn -2, get the rested and the active back, and if you are able to put that active Dawn onto your leader, this becomes a 7 cost, getting it out of range for you know, even things like Gravity Blade or 9 cost Mom, making it harder to KO for Lucci. Like ramping into this and then playing it on curve, unless Lucci or the black deck has already set up 1 or 2 cards, it's going to be really hard for them to get rid of. And then this paired with the stuff like the secret rare from EVO2, the 6 cost Rush Luffy, just going to be really strong. I see the direction of this deck turning into like kind of a mid-range beatdown kind of deck. And that's also why I like this Frankie, is because like just knowing that you like, you know, not having any 9 or 10 Dawn characters, like you could take out the 9 cost Rush Luffy. You don't have to run the 10 cost Nika Luffy. If you just run like Rush Luffy, this Luffy, and Frankie, I think there's going to be some potential there. I really do. I hate to keep just harping on this Frankie, but I think this card is so good. But obviously this Luffy's awesome. It's really strong. Again, I think all of the obviously the Blackbeard cards are like well designed for Blackbeard, because it's like basically like just one main thing that he's kind of doing. But I really like the nuance to the Luffy cards and kind of how they work with the leader. So really excited there. Good card. All of the new cards that have been revealed have me very excited and very hopeful for all the other leaders. So 1, what do you think's coming next? Which ones do you think are going to get revealed next? And 2, let me know what you think. What did you think of the new cards that got revealed? Do you play Blackbeard, or are you excited to play Black Purple Luffy? I know I hate on Blackbeard a bit, but he's still a very interesting leader, and the new cards are cool. Like, they're really strong. So let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're excited. Or are you like me, where you're just sitting over here waiting for Yamato and Bonnie to come out? That's gonna be it. So thank you guys for watching. Please consider checking out the other videos on my channel, and I do stream here on YouTube and Twitch. I do multi-streaming 2 to 3 times a week, so please check me out. Everything's at Fidelia TCG. You can catch me on Twitter, and I recently started a METAFY. So I have an EBO2 Bonnie guide, a video on YouTube, but if you'd like a slightly more in-depth and nuanced version with other matchups, that's a written version of it, you can check it out for free on my METAFY. So check that out if you're interested, and I just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.